Learn in Color is a local business started by a then 14-year-old, and it has reached over 6 million people in over 65 countries over the past 8 years. And joining us today to tell us more is the creator, Samantha, who is right here from our area. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I've kind of watched a little bit of your entrepreneurial journey, so I just kind of want to start with your background. You grew up here, and you've just really accomplished so many things as a young woman that our community really should be very proud of you. So let's get a little bit background on you, Samantha.
Yeah, I grew up in the Elkhart area. I was homeschooled from grades 4 through 12, and that homeschooling experience has kind of shaped me to be where I am today. I went to Bethel College. I graduated high school and college early, and my current business I started when I was 14 years old. It was inspired by my own homeschool experiences, and along the way I realized that you could be a full-time blogger. And by the time I was 14 to 17, my goal was to become a full-time businesswoman, and I made that happen by the time I was 17.
You were 17, so I need to go, but you had said you had graduated both high school and college early. When did you graduate college? Because I'm always fascinated by that.
I was 20.
You were 20, so
yeah.
you finished early and then kind of jumped right in to this business world. But it wasn't always the plan, right? You had other kind of aspirations, and then how did specifically Learn in Color kind of come to fruition?
Yeah, so I started with a love of history. I love history, and at the time I only believed that the jobs available for people that loved history were a historian or a history teacher, and I didn't think that either of those options completely fit me well. And around that time I got connected with a lot of business owners and bloggers who were making 6 figures and supporting these large families from their blog income. And I thought, I don't need to feed a family with 10 kids in LA. All I need to do is support myself in Mishawaka, Indiana. So then they kind of gave me the inspiration that I needed to propel me to say, hey, this is possible, this is not a crazy dream, and it's completely worth pursuing, I guess.
Well, let's dive kind of right into Learn in Color. You had mentioned that this is a very busy season going back to school. So let's talk really about the business and what does that business model look like and how you're serving your customers, your clients, and families really.
It started as a blog. So through the blog I make money through Amazon affiliate links, advertisements, and as I started growing in the blog world, I realized that the best way to make money blogging is through products. So I have about 200 different products. I have movie guides, book guides. I recently released a President's Escape Room that during the pandemic so people can do it at home because every place was closed. Yeah, I just have a lot of different resources to help students make connections with the world around them. So for example, if they're watching the movie The Sound of Music, they can pick out, oh, this is set in Austria. What else is set in Austria? If you see it on the news, I'm hoping they'll be able to make those connections and say, hey, we learned about that from The Sound of Music or something like that.
And we're getting kind of images of your website right now. And you know, I'm a parent as well and often look for resources to be able to continue just that educational process, whether they're homeschooled or they go to a more traditional in-person based learning. So how are you kind of walking alongside families and providing just more opportunities to learn and grow?
I love supporting teachers, especially because teachers during the pandemic, they had to instantly switch to an online format, and that's kind of what my resources have. They have the ability, they can differentiate the resources. For example, in a busy classroom, whether your students are struggling and a little bit behind or if your students are gifted, my resources are very flexible and allow them to service all of their students' needs.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your background and where did kind of your homeschool journey kind of influence some of the programs and resources that families can utilize?
It started when I was in 4th grade. In 3rd grade, I told my parents that I wasn't learning a lot in the public school system, so I wanted to try homeschooling. And at the time, both worked full-time and didn't really know a ton about homeschooling, but we decided to give it a shot. And my very first resources were called cheat sheets. So they're basically a collection of colorful resource sheets, and I'd originally created them for myself when I was in school because I was tired of trying to flip through my math textbook or my history textbook and trying to remember dates, formulas, and so I created these cheat sheets. And a couple years into it, I realized that other people could benefit from these too, and that's kind of where the business started taking off from there, and I started getting feedback from parents and students from all across the globe and saying, hey, these resources help my students with dyslexia, these resources help my ESL students, and I realized I could really make an impact.
You really are making impact, and even just sitting alongside you, just knowing how old you are and the accomplishments that you've already had at such a young age. You know, what advice would you give to young women that are maybe watching this morning and just have these aspirations of maybe starting their own business even though they might be young?
I say go for it. I love encouraging youth entrepreneurs, and I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is listen to the right people. I believe you should take advice from the people that matter most to you, but advice from everybody might not always be the best. There were a lot of people that told me that starting a blog wasn't going to make me any money, that it was too hard or impossible, but I'm so glad I listened to those right people and the people that were always encouraging me along the way, and they have propelled me to where I am.
Well, you are doing it, and we want to make sure we get some resources out to our viewers to learn more information about Love to Learn. There's also a special offer. There's a promo code, Love to Learn, for 20% off when you go to that website, learnincolor.com. You can also find on Facebook and Instagram as well.